Yeah, I think we got most of the things done here. Okay, if you look at these are pretty good. This one is pretty good. This one here, I think I would say it already meets the third normal form because everything is good here. The employee table here, let's look at this table and see what we can do with this. Let me put a line here. Okay, so what can we do to this table? What can we improve this? Oops, the first and last name? Yep, I think that's good, right? You break that down into first and last. So let's just move this over to the bottom here. And we're going to add a no, let's add a new tab here. Okay, we'll put it here. Did it come with it? Oh no, it lost it. Okay, we'll put it here. Alright, so we need a first and last for the name, right? It just insert a column. So this could be like first name and last name. Address would be fine. City, state, zip code, phone number, phone 1, phone 2. Okay. Well, the phone here, if you look at this, what if I want to, what if just say, I have a third phone number, what do I do? Right, one of those issues that we just talked about. I decided to have a third number. Well, you have to go back to your original database table and modify it, add a third column. And then now you have to deal with all the other people that don't have the third number. So that means that column has to be nullable, right? And then again, so you have a whole bunch of null values. And that's not ideal for database design either, right? So you don't want to have a table that has a lot of null values and only one or two people have the third number. So that's not ideal. Okay, you can either omit that or just say you have to have it, then you break this out into a separate table, right? So we're going to take this out and make this its own table down here. So we have phone number. So this could be like a phone ID. Okay, and here we have the phone ID, and then we have the phone number. We can call it phone ID. We have the phone, just the number, right? Number. And this could be 1, 2, and 3. And this is the phone ID. This is the foreign key. So this would be 1 for that person, 2 for this, and 3 for that. But in here, the number itself, we have another column here. Well, as you can look at this, you can say, well, Bruce Wayne has phone number, 2 numbers.
Would we want to make employee ID a foreign key in that table maybe so that we can have
Okay.
record and many employee, many folks.
Okay. So you're saying that we should add a
Instead of
employee ID
foreign people, foreign ID.
as the foreign key.
Yeah.
So we don't need this column at all.
Right.
Okay.
And
And
then
this,
we have one phone for
right.
record, for each record, and many records for employees.
Okay.
And that's it, right?
Right. So I think that's right. That's good. So this
We
could
need
be.
to have another table called phone type, right? Like phone works.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Right. Exactly. That's
And
what we
have that
get it.
ID tied to the.
Yep. There you go. You get it. So you have a phone type. Right here, office type. You have a cell phone type. You have one for home. So you will have here phone type, and this would be like foreign key. And then you have a phone type table over here. ID and then type. This could be home, office, cell, right? And then we link to 1, 2, and 3. And then here's really like just if the first number here is 22277, this could be the, I should have another column here. So I could have like that, and then the phone type, and this is the actual number. Well, no. Actually, we put a number over here. No, right, it is.
Yeah, you put the number there, right?
Yeah, number.
That would be 1 for home and then the value.
Yeah, so 1 here, and then the actual number.
And it belongs to each train for
Mhm.
that employee.
Right, so 1, and they belong to just Wayne. The second number will be type 2. Phone type will be, no, phone type will be,
Phone number would be like 414, whatever.
yes. So 44, whatever it is, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the second type will be 414, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this also belongs to Bruce. Okay? So you get the phone type. The name is a home number because the type matches. And then the office number for that belongs to the employee, and this employee linked to this table here. Okay, and this one here, this column just makes this whole thing unique. If you want, if you don't want that, you can just say this plus this is the unique ID, right? Compound key, and that's fine too. So you can see how just the number itself can get a little bit complicated, but it's very efficient though. Because now I can have as many number of phones I want. Okay, a customer or a employee can have 10 numbers. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is go here and increase the type, right? And be like vacation home number or something, a plane or car phone, right?
Or correct the label of one that changes for everyone else.
Yep, exactly, right? Because then when we update, you can propagate those data, cascade down, up and down the list tables too. Okay, so the same thing can also be done with the zip code here. Okay, because the zip code. So if you look at this, the address is really depends on the well, if you look at this, the city, the address, city, and state, they all depend on the zip code, right? If I give the zip code, you can tell me exactly what city it is, what state it is, but not the address though, right? But these three definitely can do that. So you can take this whole thing out, and you can put the zip code here as a foreign key, and then the zip code will be over here. You can actually take the state out too. You can take that out. Even the city, you can take these two out, and then just use this if you want. Okay, but I mean, well, there's lots of ways. But let's just say we keep that city in there. We take this out, and we'll use this as a foreign key. Okay, and then we have a table over here somewhere that will look similar to this, and we'll link that to just the zip, and then we have here the state. So if it's like 53401, that's you can also put city here if you want. Okay, well, let's just say any of this zip here will be linked to the state. So you can get the state or even the city out of this zip number here. So you just have employee ID, first name, last name, address, and the zip code. That's fine. You can take this out and add it over here. Okay, if you want. So that now you have your tables are really really small. And because 53401 will link to this zip code, will give you the state and the city information here. Okay, so you don't have to list everything here. So that's that, and so we took care of this. Yes.
If you did that, wouldn't you have to go through and make a column for all the zip codes?
Yes. You have to have all the zip codes here, and the zip codes are unique, so that's your primary key, right?
You have to make a roll for record, correct?
Yes.
Well, that's my point. Why would you even do that? Why would you suddenly put the zip and state wherever
Well,
in there instead of to build that big database.
There are companies that actually have that, zip code lookups, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our system has that.
Because each-
I mean, are you talking about adding more memory and data to it, making it bigger than you really needed it?
Well, the idea is that if we want to pull all the people living in this zip code, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you have to type the state and the city here, you have a lot of extra data here for each person. You have 2 additional columns here to have for those. Whereas if you take all the city and states out to a single table, then you don't have that many data here.
No, but then you have to make that table extremely huge because you have to have all the zip codes in there for it to reference.
Well, you need it. You need well, these zip codes are unique, right?
Yeah.
So you have I don't know how many zip code states in the country here, but
Well, there's like, what, 4 or 5 just for overseeing.
yes.
Yeah, but it's fine that you only have those 5.
Yeah.
If you have 500 customers with addresses, you would just have one reference for, or the many references, one column that references the one instance, unique instance, and that's it. They instead of having repeat 53401 Wisconsin, 53401 Wisconsin, 53401, being referenced.
Mhm.
It's actually less. Maybe not, on the margin, but still less.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the quantity, quantity of data you're talking about. It's like, for a normal company, it's not a big thing to store 99,000 zip codes. Whereas now here, if you have like a, I don't know, a mom and pop shop, and you have, 100 customers or something, yeah, that would be numbers. But most companies, that's not.
Yeah, well, if you look at this, if I take the city out, okay, if I take that, I put over here. Assume we put like Racine here, and then the rest will be whatever it is. Now, if you have only this information here, with just this zip code, can I get the city and the state out of this table, right? I could have 1,000 zip code here with well, actually, in this case, you actually break this down further, okay? Because you have, like you say, you have all these cities could share the same zip code, right? I mean, different zip code. Like 543, 4302 is also Racine. So you have redundant data here as well. So you can break this further, okay? But let's just say that you have this information here. Now, if you were to put a state in here, or a city, I have to say we every time. It's going to be we, to say Illinois, and so on. So instead of adding additional column here for each person, I can remove all of these and just pull from one table so I don't have to duplicate that data. Okay, if you're talking about 100,000 people, it's not a big deal. If you're talking about 500 million, that's a lot. Okay, now times two columns, that's double the size of this data. Whereas this one will always stay fixed, right? It's always stay fixed at the number. But here, this one can grow. As you grow your data, this column also grows with it. If it grows, you have more data added to it. So instead of having listed here, you can delete all of these, and just using one column here, I can pull this information out of this table, because this one always fixed.
So at what point do you just stop breaking it down?
Until you can't break it down anymore. Yes.
That was a good question.
Yeah. So that's the whole idea about decomposition. You break it down until you can't break it anymore. If you can still break it further, keep doing it.
That's where the ethnicity comes in.
So that's why you have the first, third, fourth, fifth, sixth normal forms. Okay. But at some point, you don't have to go that deep because it gets really confusing as you get more. Especially, I mean, for a table that has like 3 or 4 columns, it's not a big deal. But a table that has like 5 or 10 columns that are all related to one item, that's really hard to do. Okay, to make it like say the 6th normal form, that's almost like sometimes you can't even get there. Okay, so yeah, you break it down until you meet the 3rd normal form, and you can stop there if you want. Okay, and so just think about, again, data. If I can get the state and the city from this zip code, I break into a separate table because now these will stay fixed. They don't change at all, right? But this, I add more records to this employee. I change, the zip code will grow. This will grow, absolutely. But I already eliminated two columns here. Okay, so it's good.
Even in this case, sometimes they rezone and change. A zip code can
Yeah.
change to a different city.
Yeah.
You just change it to table once, all the records stuff.
Right. So if you think about zone 2, another table for zoning issues. Okay. So now you can see how this can get complicated to build a really simple table for something like this. You think about the future, not just like right now when you design databases. Okay, like the phone numbers. We haven't we didn't put email in here too. Another table for emails. The email type. Okay, you can even go by the domain if you want, but that's another issue. But so it can get really complicated. But as you build this, though, it takes a lot of time to design. I can guarantee you that, because you can't not do something like this overnight. Okay, sometimes it takes months to do it, especially you want to build something so big. You want to think about what happens in 5 years, in 10 years. Okay, will I come back anytime to modify something here? If I do, then well, I better think it now, just to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future. Right? So like you say, okay, we didn't break their first name and last name. I forgot to put the middle name. Do I need that? So you add that ahead. Do I need the suffixes in here, right? Do I need their the other information, like I don't know, whatever you can think of about employee. Yeah. Okay. So it gets really because they have the birth date and other information here as well. But
you probably want a column for like junior or the third.
Yeah.
Because you could have,
yeah, the generation thing, right?
Tom Jones the first and Tom Jones the second.
Yeah. So that could be another field, or if not field, make that another table. Okay. So another table so that those three will be kind of similar to the phone type, and then you just reference that in the based on the employee here. I don't know how you do it, but either one or the other, you would build a separate table or add an additional column in there. The idea is, if you don't want to put a column in here if it's not very widely used, because let's just say that only a third of the people has the junior or the third or senior, things like that. You have the other 60% don't have it. You end up with the column have a lot of no values. Okay, when you see that, you need to break that column out into a separate table. Okay, so the idea is don't have a lot of no values in your table. Okay, so if you have a few, that's okay, but usually if you have only 10 or 20% of it, just break it into a separate table, and so that way only those people who use it will use it. Otherwise, it looks really off on your table. Okay, so we took that out. The phone number we have. So now it will be just a phone type. We show that, right? Phone ID, whatever, and then the salary looks good. That's okay. That matches with that. Unless you have different salary for different grade, maybe you can also want to put that into a salary ID, right? Maybe you can have different salary for, I don't know, different whatever reason is. So yeah, I think once you do that, everything is unique. The as far as for this example, I think that's the farthest we can do with this.
You could do a commission table. Well, you know what I'm saying, though, because if all the people that are at the same commission rate, then you can update them. If they all change.
Yeah. If it's only like you have a different commission type.
Yeah.
Let's just say if I sell a car, I get a 0.2, but if I sell a truck, I get a 0.3 commission, right? So in that case, you break into a commission table about type 1 and type 2, right? So if you just want commission for each of these, then you don't need to break into a separate table.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question, though. Okay, anything else? If not, I think I'm going to go over the homework just one more time. And I'm going to show you what I want. So basically, here's the unnormalized table. And I will provide the data if you want to, if you're interested in using those data. So you don't have to type this. And so from this table, if you were to break this down into the first normal form, what would it look like? Okay, you might end up with just one huge table. That's fine if you make it work so that it's a unique, and you don't have any repeating data and so on. So you might end up with 2 tables or 3 tables. However you do it, it's okay. Just as long as those tables will meet the first normal form. So when you do that, then you would paste in here the tables that you modified above and put it here. Okay, this you can take as a screenshot, or if you do it in Microsoft Word or Excel, just paste and copy it here. It's how we do. That's fine. And then from this point on, you're going to use this and then go to the second normal form. If there's nothing changed because it's already in the second normal form, that's okay. You just copy and paste it down here as well. But probably one table might not be in second normal form yet. Okay, so you want to modify that, and then again just add that and put it here. And then the third one is if it's already third normal form here, which it's possible, it could be. Okay, but chances are you might have a table that is not third normal form. And then so when you modify that table, it could be just one table for that. And then again, just paste everything here in the third normal form, and you're done for this one here. And then finally here, I want you to go ahead and create those tables you created. And then make sure they're properly linked together, which one has the foreign key, which is their primary key, and so on. If you want to use 2 columns as a composite key, you can do that as well. That's up to you. And then once you do that, then I also want you to generate that the table design, and so I can see the relationships between those tables. Okay.
So for steps 1, 2, and 3, we can put the Excel sheets or the Excel tables in. And then for step 4, we're actually going to create those tables in SQL and give you those commands.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So step 4, I want the the commands to create these tables, and then also, so step 5 will be that design. After you created the tables, you should be able to generate that design, that ERD from the database, and they just cut and paste here. All right. So when you work this out, just I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do it. The way I did was I put, once you take it out, put that into a, put a note in here. Make that a foreign key, and the primary key, and so on. So when you go back and design this table in the SQL Server, you see how easy it is to actually just work this out. Okay. When you design it, sometimes you have to think about which table should be there first, right? Because yeah, right. So the parent has to be there first. Otherwise, the foreign key would say, "Hey, it doesn't exist." Okay. It may not have the issue. So if you don't want to do that first, you can just design all the tables, and then go back and alter. Okay. When you alter it, all the data, all the columns are there. So you can use the alter command to alter the table here. Make this primary key. Alter this. Make this primary key. Make this the foreign key. You know how to alter the table, right? So usually that's how you do it before after you build all the tables, because it's much easier that way than, oh, which table should be first, which should be last. Okay. Once you have this design layout, you can know exactly which column goes where, and you don't have to worry about the order when you create it. But if you were to do it in the script, and everything should run a one take, then you have to make sure everything runs without any errors, and the order becomes important. But of course, the alter key is the key here to make life easier for DBAs. Okay.